All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi there, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Hiya. Are you on your own, Alison, or have you got others there?
No, I'm on my own at home at the moment.
No worries. I'll give it a minute just to
Okay.
who else we've got.
I will just warn you that I've got builders making a lot of noise outside my house.
Okay. So I've unmuted you.
Yeah.
Then you can mute and unmute yourself.
Yeah, okay,
So yeah, I'll up to you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Is that everyone there? Great. So who are we? Are we waiting on anyone else?
No. If you've got Alison, no.
Yeah, she's
Yeah, I'm here.
right.
Excellent. So there's Roz here, Jackie and Fiona.
Perfect. So happy Friday, everyone.
Thank you.
Looking forward to the weekend, I hope.
Oh, God, yes.
Definitely.
Right, great. So I know that probably a few of you have maybe met or seen me or spoken to me. But just in case anyone hasn't, I'm Amy. I'm a digital solutions manager. So I'll be sort of supporting you through getting your learning assistant up to sort of your training implemented. The webinar we're going to do today is your Assessor and IQA view of the portfolio. We booked it in for an hour and a half. It may take less or more depending on questions, etc. I'm going to record today's webinar as well, so I don't expect, obviously there's a lot of information to sort of pick it up straight away. If you do need me again to do a refresher, then let me know. I've got Glasgow that you can call at any time. And then I'll send you the recording of this webinar so that when you're starting, if you need a bit of a refresher, you can do. Any questions that you've got going through? Oh, I'm so sorry, that's the dog again. So any questions you've got as we're going along, please feel free to just to ask as we're going, or pick
Who's in the background?
Sorry?
Who's hammering in the background?
It's me, sorry, it's my builders. I keep muting it so you can't hear it. Sorry, they're right outside my door as well. I'll keep muting myself.
Right, so let's have a look. Can you just let me know when you can all see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
Great. Let me just take this off. So, if you can all see my screen, this is the welcome page for you as an assessor. So this is my demonstration site. I've got an assessor here. My assessor's name is Business Admin. The learner I'm going to use is going to be Admin Learner. Their name. It's a bit complicated, but it will make sense as we're going along. So the process I'm going to go through today is a little bit like the super user Jackie and Fiona you saw the other day. Is I'm going to go along the main home page and then sort of talk around the sidebar down here. So the first thing I'm going to do though is click on the avatar here. So that little person up in the top corner, bless you, in the left-hand corner. The first thing you do when you log into your learning assistant is click on that little cog. This is where you'll prefer to use it and see it. So this is where you can put a picture of yourself in the avatar button. You can change your password here. Your notifications and preferences are the next bit. So notifications, make sure that you put your email address in here when you start. Otherwise, you won't get any notifications from Learning Assistant.
Might be the way ahead.
You then choose.
All laughing because if they don't put their emails in, they won't get any.
But if you have, or when you've set them up, if you've put their email in, it's done.
I have.
So it's just to check it. And then you can choose how often you want to receive these notifications. So message digest, saying if you want to. Oh, say that again. Sorry, was that a question?
No, they're saying daily is the best way.
Yeah, so you can do it daily or per message. Daily, just to let you know, comes in at about midnight. So if you have your phone next to you when you're asleep and your emails come through, just be aware and don't go cursing me if you wake up to Learning Assistant's Daily Digest. Going further down, you've got Evidence Upload Digest, Contact Diary. It's just as to whether you would like to receive notifications on these topics or not. So it's totally personal to you. Oh, settings afterwards. After that, you go into your preferences and choose how you can change the icons, the size of the text. You can change how you view your charts. You can then see here your learner results column. So this is the snapshot view of your learners, which we'll have a look at in a minute. Currently, these on the right-hand side are the things that I want to see when I have a snapshot of my learner. If I want to add any of these on the left, then I would just click to move it across. And then you would just press submit of your platform. Now coming onto your home page, so this is what will pop up every time you log in. Fiona and Jackie, when I was mentioning about in the settings button about the welcome text, that's that bit that I've highlighted. Yeah. If your super user has set you up any news and events to view, then they will sit down here and they will show in a continuous feed. Down here then you've got Assessor tasks. So, to Learning Assistant. Previously, when a learner wanted to get their work reviewed, they had to submit a competency claim for the entire unit, and they can't just submit that one piece of evidence. It was saying, right, I believe that my unit is completely covered. Now, we know that learners don't necessarily know when a unit's been covered or had enough. So what they can do now is submit their evidence, and when they upload it, which we'll come on to, it says, would you like to submit evidence for review? So that is pushing through to you as an assessor saying, can you just have a look at my work and check that I'm on the right tracks, or I think this is enough. You can do that now, so they don't have to sign off and close down the whole unit. They can do still if they want, that's in the wait and review. Then you've got your verifier referrals here. Your overdue work, so that's if you set a learner a deadline and they're overdue, it will show up down here. So you've got a really good snapshot of sort of the tasks that you need to be working currently. No. Okay, great. If you are IQA as well, then you can have Assessor and Verifier on the same login. If you were a Verifier only, then your homepage would just look like this without the Assessor tasks. So it's your sampling plan tasks, what you've got to awaiting verification, and what you've referred. So just going along the top here, you've got messages, which is a quick link to your Learning Assistant inbox, internal. Appointments, this is one appointments that you've set, any that have been missed. And if you specifically set up a review appointment, then that will show in here as well. So if someone said, right, what learners have you got coming up for review soon? You click on there and they'd show up in a list. Your resources then, you've got the tab here. And again, Jackie and Fiona, when I showed you on the settings tab where you put all your generic resources, so like your safeguarding, your handbooks, etc., that would all sit in here on the home screen. YouTube resources, that's a link to me and the other digital solution managers doing like voice step-by-step guides of how to use the system. So it might be for the learner, it might say to submit your 20% off the job training, you do this, this and this, and it's like a show and tell of how to use the system. So if you ever get stuck and want to have a look at like a reminder of how to do something, click in there and you'll see it broken down there between sort of 20 seconds and a couple of minutes of just like the individual little bits. Finally, on your home screen, you've got LA Anywhere. Now this is just the information of what you'd need to put in to log into your app on phone or tablets. But also key for assessors, you've got the desktop version. Now, web learning assistant online, and that's the live version. This, when you download it, you would download it onto your laptop, and then you would, and then if you were in a place with no signal, you didn't have Wi-Fi, you were, I don't know, on the train or whatever it was, but you needed to do some work on it, you needed to mark some evidence and submit it, etc. You do it via this version, which is offline, and then the second you connect back up to Wi-Fi, it will sync to your live system. So there'll be no, you don't have to duplicate work, or, you know, I can remember going out and doing observations with people and not having my my online version of my portfolio, but with this, you just pop it straight in, and then it would sync for you. All right. Any questions on your homepage?
No, I was just thinking we may not be able to use the download because it would put it onto our computers and we're not supposed to download anything.
Ah, right, okay.
That's the only thing against it. At the moment, we can use City and Guilds without a problem because we access it via the internet.
Yeah.
But our IT people are so precious about what they will allow us to download. So we would have to make inquiries, but we do know that's an option, so that is good. Thank you.
No, that's fine. It's like I say, it's just if you want to use it, or not. It's just, yeah, it's good to know that it's there. So working down the left-hand side now, your learners tab. I'm going to come to sort of assessing some learner work shortly. So on your learners tab, this is where you would search for your learners. You can do that via package, or you don't have any packages, sorry. So courses, via company, which we're going to put as the team leaders for those learners. Learner status. Now, if you've been set up with your test and dummy learners, to find
them, I set a test learner up for them, yes.
Great. So when you search for that, you just need to change learner status to test learners. Otherwise, they won't show up because we don't want them to show, obviously, in your caseload. Search by name, or if you just click straight on search learners and don't put anything in, all your learners will show down the bottom here and along avatar in the preferences. Whereas at the moment, it is this level 3 business admin and all the learners underneath it, or you can do it by learner name. So if your learner has got functional skills as well attached to it, then it'd be their name and then their business admin program, their functional skills program all together. But this is just in order of just their business admin. So this is the snapshot I was telling you about. It tells you your learner name and the company that they work for. It will give you all the units that are on their program, color coded as to what status they're at. This is your RAG range shortly, so your red amber progression bar. Now, with your progression bars, you've got expected, so that's what the system expects you to have done. And that is how many units you've got over how long the course is. That's what it should be seeing. Completed is what's been signed off by the assessor. And then started is what the learners actually clicked into, given a go, maybe uploaded some evidence. But just so you know that they're actively using it. On here, I've put when they last logged in, when they last made contact, and how many units they're on track with. Yeah. So that's your overview. Carrying on down the side, you've got news and events, which is just a bigger version of what you see on your home screen. So now you can create an appointment in this calendar, or you can do it in the contact diary, which I'll show you in a moment. But creating an appointment is very much popping all you on your calendar, on the IQA's calendar. It doesn't talk directly with Outlook, but you can press export, and that will feed into your Outlook calendar. So you can put it in here and then export it into Microsoft or whatever it is by downloading it. They won't allow us to get it to do it both ways, but we've given you the functionality to export it out. Forums. Fiona and Jackie, did you decide that forums was feasible?
I need to play with it. I think we need to get a little bit more knowledge under our belts.
Yeah.
And then decide if we want to use it or not. Does it need, how do we set it up? Is it
Yes,
redo?
it's the super user that would set it up as a forum.
Yeah,
As far as
that's cool.
the assessor goes, they can click into it. You can obviously see what the learners have put in. You can see the test here. You can reply to them and give them like ad hoc feedback as they're kind of chatting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Okay. So PDR, hospitality and management, when we'd go to like trade shows or skill shows and things, I'd get them to put in a bit of a CPD log just because it maybe didn't link in directly with their course, but it was good to sort of include in their portfolio. So, but then more importantly, every month when the IQAs want your seat a little bit easier whilst you've to put it in. So to put in a CPD entry, quite a lot is like your standardisation. So I'd put in standard actions that you'd take, reflection I learnt about LA. And let's go, today is 1.5 hours. And it was today, and I'm going to submit it. Now with this, once you've saved it, you can where you sit in there. And then it will then give you a rolling log of the PDRs that you've done and when, so that your IQAs, currently in internals rather than whatever sort of format you've got at the moment, it just keeps it all in the same place.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, so I'm going to come back to sampling strategy, just so that we don't get too lost. Messages again. This is like a normal is so to all your learners and things, and pop it in. You'd use your contact diary for things about their program, but in here it might be if you've got an article that you want them to read and just have a look at because you think it's useful to what they're understanding. You might put that in here and attach it and say, have a look at this. It's just a bit of, like if it's business, for example, you might see an article in the paper on, Brexit. It seems to be everywhere at the moment and how it affects the economy.
Yeah.
It might be like, right, the economy is going downhill. How can we fix it? But that's where I'd probably recommend to use that. And then processes. Now, I know that this is a bigger conversation internally. Would tell you what that process is. So it might be this learner needs their 6-week review. They need their 9-week review. You need to submit their gateway or whatever that task is. It will tell you what task it needs to be done, the learner that's related to, and when that's due in. Yeah, and then what you've recently completed will sit down there. Okay, any questions on that? I know that you're obviously going to look at your processes, but does it make sense?
Oh no, that's absolutely fine. No, again, it's kind of we've just got to sort of get to grips with it. Once everybody's had a look at how to navigate, you then have to start looking at it and deciding what we're going to put in which bits.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah, I can feel a meeting coming on at some point.
A lot of people say that, they're like, right, standardization.
Yeah.
Yeah, fab. So then just at the bottom of any page you've got your customer support, quick link down here. Report a problem if there's anything that, if you're not seeing something you should. Submit an idea is if you've got any ideas of development. If you fill in the form that pops up, that goes straight to our product development team to review. So if you think, oh, this could work a bit better, then that's where you'd put that. Okay. So going into assessing your learner's work. So I've got this learner, business admin, and they have submitted work on the 9th of November, so quite a while ago now, and they've done for task 1.3 and they've filled in their apprenticeship training manual. So if I click into the learner name, this will bring up their portfolio. So imagine them old binders that we had and they've all been put into here. The way I look at it is like if you had a ring binder and then you've got folders, like your tabs that go down, or second tab is evidence, and sort of imagine it like that. Sorry. I only got it today, it's driving me mad. So then you've got your started, completed and expected learner journey, and then you've got their main course. So down here, each of the arrows, that's a little paper aeroplane. So you've got a couple of ways. You've got the imagery, and if you hover over it, it will tell you the title, and also on the right hand side it will say reviewed and returned, submitted and awaiting review, etc. Now this learner is saying that they've started 100%, but they've completed nothing because we haven't actually said, do you know what, you've done all right. We've said not, like, we're not happy with this. If we looked at the whole unit, the whole of all 3 tasks, and we were happy with it, then we could accept the unit on the outset on there, and it would flag up, and that whole unit would be signed off. Now on here, I've got submitted and awaiting review and 1.3, which is what was on the home page. If I click on it, then it will take me through to what is required down here. If you were to build in your own task forms like we discussed the other day, then they would sit under here. Any contact you've had with the learner about this would sit down, look at the evidence you have, click on accept, not too bad. You can put in the next...
Got to wait for you to catch up.
Sorry?
Yeah, sorry, we had to wait for you to catch up.
Oh, right.
There was nothing coming on our screen, but it is now. It's all right, we've caught up.
And then it would to acknowledge that they have, and the same with the company. So their team leader would then be able to acknowledge that they have seen that. Once you've pressed save, it will refresh that screen for you, so that if you needed to attach anything, whether you've done really well to. So we've accepted that. So now down in this unit, it tells you reviewed and accepted on the feedback. When the learners acknowledge that, that will then show a tick, and when you hover over it, it will show you when they acknowledge that feedback. Okay. So back to the contact diary would show up feedback.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay. And then down here now you can see that completed has gone to a 3rd because we've said that one is okay. Any questions on how to sort of like assess and feedback to your learner?
That's quite straightforward, isn't it?
Yeah, once you get into the hang of it, it's pretty. So you can see that there, and how I would go to task 5.2, and then oh no.
When I've worked with Learning Assistant before, I would go into that.
So you can still do it that way.
I would go into my contact, would write whether I'd accepted or not, and then I would attach it into the contact diary. Is that the wrong way of doing it then? Yeah,
so if you, well, it's not wrong, but it's a lot more work for you.
That's what I've always done, you say, so...
Yes, it's best for that you've accepted it, and then go...
Yeah, that's what I've always done.
Whereas if you go straight into that unit, mark the work there, it feeds into that contact diary. So where it shows there anyway, whereas if you'd have...
I used to go in the left hand where it says description,
yeah, I
would put the evidence number, and then I would give my feedback.
So how did you then sign it off as complete?
I would go back into the course. Okay.
I mean, if you want to do it, then that's fine. It's just, obviously, it's an extra step that you don't need to take.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, every piece of evidence that's been uploaded will sit in here. Showcase evidence at the end. Then we have the ability to then mark it as showcase. You can obviously undo that if you change your mind. That will tell you if your learner's where it's just locked down. So once you've chosen all your showcase pieces, you then press download showcase, and it'll download into here. to whoever you need within the endpoint assessment team, whether it be into, if you're using Sitting Guilds, it might be into our EPA portal, or you might have to send it off to another AO, etc. But all of that pieces of evidence will then sit in here. But the learners can ultimately use that as well if they wanted to take away all their work and they wanted to save it onto like a memory stick and have it with them. And the contact, again, is every piece of contact you've had, no matter what unit, what label it has. So this is the learner conversations, that's feedback, showcase, download. Now this is up to you as to whether you fill LA Connect, which I don't think is very valuable to you guys. But if you wanted to fill in all of this information, then you can do. You can do that as a separate, but obviously you can build it as a course if that's what you'd prefer to do. If you wanted it, if you wanted your own forms being built in, but this is where your generic City and Guilds review form is built in, and this is the information that. Or once you've saved your own review document. But like I say, we can build that into a unit as I showed you, Fiona and Jackie, on Monday or Tuesday. Because you can still set the appointments. This is just another step. Does that make sense? Or
Kind of went over my head a bit, that one.
okay. So you know when I was showing that you can build units?
Yes.
The other day. So
Yes.
a lot of my centres build a review unit and build their own review
Yes.
form into that.
Yes, I remember. Yes, got you.
Yeah, so if you've got your own review form that you use now and you want to keep it and it's standardised, etc.,
Yeah,
you
got you.
can build that into that unit.
Right.
Is sometimes preferred rather than using this.
Yes, no, I do remember now, yes.
Yeah, great. So the last two tabs on here, you've got metrics, which is your on and off the job hours. So as I was saying, when you load in your learners' details, you include their contract time. So I do it when this person came up. So let's go. I think standard is.
Ours is 1,776, I think.
Good effort. So save. That's a lot of knowledge. To give you that as how many hours in 76 hours. Off the job training, that 15 hours equates to 0.84% of what they have to do. So you know that needs to be a minimum of 20% by the end of their program. So it just saves you a bit of maths. I found I was like, I can't work this out. And then the learner journey is an overview of everything. That they've done that 15 hours and still do this complete donut, if you like, as a breakdown. And then this is relatively new. This tells you how did work. And then by user, that's the learner and how much they have uploaded. So they've uploaded 2 pieces as well. So it's split even. So if you wanted to evidence that the program was more learner-led, this by user donor would be a lot fuller of sort of one colour. And then again, your contact diary shows learner has acknowledged, requires acknowledging. You would tick that to acknowledge it. And then it will time and date stamp when that.
Gosh, yeah.
Yeah. So are you, is everyone happy with that?
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, once you kind of start getting into like your routine or your rhythm of it, you'll sort of get your own methodology, I suppose. That will come. So as far as IQAing comes into place, I'll show you the sampling where I've them use exactly the same IV. So we've tried to keep it really similar across all platforms, so that if you're an assessor and an IQA, you don't get confused between the two, or if someone needs a hand, it looks the same. So your IQAing is exactly the same for your accept and return. So the only difference then with your IQA is your sample summary. Right, I need to go in.
I've had that for years.
Can we get rid of it?
No, usually when I click on it, they say exit.
Okay, so sample, but some people are used to sort of these 20 million page sampling plans, so want that put in. So it's entirely up to you whether you like the simple sample plan or whether you still want to use kind of your own version of. But I will show you how you set it up for now. So sampling plans, and then you go create sample. Course template. Companies, so if you wanted to break it down by companies, you can put in as many as you like. And choose your assessor. And again, you could choose more if you wanted to. And then include completed learners. I'm going to put no for this. And then just save. So once you've done that, it will then sit at the bottom here. You can obviously delete it as if it was just a squarer Excel sheet. So your learner names will go down here, all the units go along the top, and you can just slide along to see them all. And again, it will tell you if they're started, not started, completed, verified, etc. So to plan your sample, you would tick on the box. Yes. Choose the evidence type C, so I might want to see an observation of product, and I'd like to see that next week. And then I'd press save. So therefore, I've got a P in here saying tell me what I've done. Now, if I was to go in and do another one in the past, it will show as overdue. Now, every time you want to, you can obviously download these as Excel documents or PDFs to share. But that's how you would plan all your learners, all the learners' units as to IQA. Click search. Then that sample plan will then show down here of how many pieces of evidence have been completed by the assessor. That would have a little 3 in it. You could see how much work you've got in each task. To see the learners for business on this course, and then it will show it, so you can break down. It will break down into, when you're searching a variety of sample plans, everything you've got to sample for that assessor will show. Okay, so if I then go back onto the home page, as I say, you've got the verifier tasks, which you've got. Actually, I might do one in the past, try and get processes the assessment. See, because obviously it's between you and the assessor. Not bad. Obviously, my feedback it would be more productive. Require assessor acknowledgement and press saved as. There we go. You got your pink tick. So fairly straightforward, I think. What do you think of the sample summary? Do you hate it? Or I am getting it so you can get the outcomes. That's what I've begged them for. And then, so that's sort of going to be the next stage of development in the IQA bit. And then we're going to start looking at making it really sort of customizable to what people would usually have. But I think first and foremost, it's just about getting it into that deeper dive. So rather than the whole outcome, the whole unit,
but it might be in the long term.
Yeah, but at least you can plan your learners within here, so it gives you your notifications and alerts, and you can feed back on this. And then it obviously will sit in the learner journey, but you won't be able to. The learner won't be able to see what you've said as an IQA, but it will sit within their portfolio. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is how to assess and verify your learning assistant. Have you got any questions or anything you want me to go over? Or is the silence just, it's Friday afternoon, Amy, shut up?
No, we need to have a play because I mean, obviously, I had my training on Monday with you.
Yeah.
And then Tuesday, Wednesday, I could go and have a play with it, and I found it wasn't too bad at all once I started going into it because I managed to put the companies on, the assessors on, the IQA, the dummy learners.
Yeah, so you kind of
So
got your head around it a bit.
just using it, really.
Yeah, well now you've all got set up and you've all got a dummy learner. Log in as the assessor and the learner, and obviously IQA each other's if you've got IQA on there. But go in and have a look. Go in as the learner and submit some work. Go in as the assessor and mark it. And once you've kind of done that full process, it becomes a lot clearer.
Yeah.
And then obviously you've got this recording that you can watch back on your home.
Yes.
On the home page, you've got your resources, YouTube videos, and then if you get stuck of a functionality, then give Glasgow a call at the support because they'll be able to talk you through it. And then if you need me to do any other webinars and refresher sessions, let me know. They're free of charge, and I can book them in.
Okay. Do you have a document that we can give to the learners when they start with us about how to use it?
They've got a little video.
Okay, there's nothing that's what they need to watch, is it?
Yeah, it says learning assistant or something on it. I can't remember what, but I've also done a learner journey video as well. I hate these because it's it's not the most exciting to talk about one. So they would click on it. It's only 2 minutes long.
Press the Start Broadcast button
And it
on
will
the GoToWebinar control panel.
tell them
The broadcast
that.
Right.
Downloading our resources and a bit of a how-to video. But we've got nothing written down, and the reason we don't touch at such a rapid rate, although I put it off for about a month before I did.
And the team leaders log on as well. Will they have the webinars as well on there so they can watch how to get onto it?
No, they don't, and that's a good point actually. I think I might suggest that. And
Need to let the leaders know how to use it.
yeah, they can see these resources, but there's not one specifically for like the companies.
Right.
I might nominate someone else to do. I'll tell them on Monday morning because I'm really busy next week. And then get someone else to do it.
Right, okay.
And then,
I've got a couple of questions actually, Amy.
yeah.
It's Jackie. You know the companies, I've set up the team leaders and the second in commands where they are.
Yeah.
Is that all the information I need to put on
Yeah.
for them to be able to actually see it
As long
and
as
go
their
in?
is their email address in?
Yes.
Yeah, then that's fine. And then you'll click on that little key and it will send them their login details.
Brilliant.
Put their learners.
That's fabulous.
Okay.
You'll have to track the learners to them, won't you?
Oh, yeah, the learners will be tracked. Yeah.
Okay.
And also, another thought, as the super user, can I enter appointments into for the learners as well?
No, you can't as a super user. You'd only be able to do it if you were set up as a secondary assessor.
Got you. I just wanted to check because at the moment I tend to log workshops and things like that for the assessors, for the trainers.
You know what I would do?
But they'll kind of
I'd do it
that themselves.
I'd do it in news and events.
Oh, of course, yeah. Yeah.
Will that populate their calendars?
Will that go in their calendars or will they have to accept it?
No, they'd have to then pop it in their calendar. It's not like setting up like in Outlook, you can do a calendar invite. It's not quite the same. You do it, if you put it in news, it goes on their home screen and then they can put it in whichever calendar they want to use.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good. That's fine. It's really just finding the processes.
Yeah,
it's adapting my process I use now to how Learning Assistant does it, and that's fine. I'm happy to, sort of change the way things are done. I just want to know basically how to do them.
yeah, of course. If as you're going along, obviously, I know that once you start using it a bit, you can kind of sort of find yourself like your way around. But if at any point you have got a particular process or structure that you use now, and you want to put that into Learning Assistant, but not entirely sure on how, then give me a call and I'll see if I can come up with a way or a methodology to replicate it here.
Lovely, thank you.
Welcome. Anything from anyone else?
No, I don't think so. No. Again, I think it's going back and having a look and then having a play and then finding out if questions I've got.
Yeah, 100%.
Have we got a link for the? I've got the email from you, Jackie. Thank you. That's got the login details. But is there a link to click on for the test system?
It's the same link to what's in that email. Your learner is just a test learner, so it's still within the normal web link that will come on the email. And all you would do is change learner status to test learners, and then you can do what you like with that learner.
Right. Oh, okay. I'm not sure if I've got that or not, but I'll speak to you.
You have.
I did send you through, Alison.
Okay, that's fine.
I think your dummy user is Munro Bloodbad.
Yeah, I've got that. Yeah, I've got that. I just wasn't sure how to access it. I've got all the login details, but what do I click on? How do I access the?
You go to learners.
Yeah, no, sorry, I just haven't got a link to.
What URL?
Yes, yeah, I haven't got a URL.
I've got you.
Right, hang on. Go on mute. I might be able to just bring it over to you now.
It's just that one there. That's just HTTPS system.
Yes, but your / bit is something else, and I can't remember off the top of my head what. Let me just have a look. It might be my diary from.
Don't worry, I don't need it now.
Okay. Might as well. Yeah.
I've got the link still, Amy, so I can send it if you can't find yours.
Okay. It's just giving me the whirling circle of death at the moment.
Yeah, don't worry, it's not urgent. Thank you. I've got a week and a bit before I start, so it's fine.
Yes, I have got it. Okay. In the chat box that you've got, I'll put in your link. There you go. So I don't know if you can see that in the chat. It's popped up. So it's that https system.learningassistant.com / Lincoln CC.
We're not there yet.
I say I've not got it.
I've got it.
Got a flashing thing, but nothing else at the moment.
Click on the flashing thing.
Yeah, I can
Click
see
on the
it.
flashing thing.
See what that does.
Oh, it's gone again. Oh, it's flashed off before I had time to write it down. Doesn't matter.
Got it.
Yeah?
Yeah, we got it. Thank you.
No worries. So if you've got no other questions, then that's it from me.
Okay.
But if there is anything else, then please feel free to give me an email or a call or anything, and I'll help it be a smooth transition for you as best I can.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Have a really good weekend.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye bye.